Hey guys, my name is Daniel and I'm excited to share with you guys about a recent project we developed at Benisuji's Technology. I know one of the recent issues we faced in the business sectors is having to do with appointment scheduling. We at Benisuji Technology decided to create a voice AI agent that sorts out issues like that. The purpose of the voice AI agent is to help out with scheduling, rescheduling, and cancellation of appointments. I'll be showing you a practical example because I know we built a product related to salon. We used a salon for a base of this experiment. So we built a salon that helps with scheduling, rescheduling, and cancellation of appointments. And it's used based on services. For example, if you want to make your hair, paint your nails like manicure, pedicure, body massages, all those kind of services here, and you want to book an appointment on a specific date or time, we made it so that the voice agent actually attends to you no matter wherever you are, and then fix the appointment. And all the manager has to do is check his Google Calendar to see that the appointment time and date is set. I will show you a practical example of how it works. We also added a new side, I would say a side attachment to it, even though it wasn't necessary. We added about the brand to it. So what I mean is, once you make a phone call and then you want to ask a specific question like, oh, okay, what time do you guys resume? You get a response. Okay, what time do you charge for this specific thing? You get a response for that. So it saves you so much time and effort, and all you just have to do is just make a phone call and then you are good to go. And if the time and date you chose is not available, it tells you it is not available, you should pick another time, that kind of thing. So it's so easy for you to use. So yeah, let's get right to the product, so I'll be able to explain it better to you guys. So hey guys, remember saying that I was going to do a practical example of how the agent works. So yeah, this is me calling the agent. So let's get into it.
Welcome to Benisuji Salons. Please select one of the following options. For questions about our brand, say brand questions. To schedule an appointment, say book an appointment. To reschedule an appointment, say reschedule. To cancel an appointment, say consent.
Schedule an appointment.
Absolutely. We can plan your appointment. What's your name?
Samson Daniel.
Got it. Your name is Samson Daniel, is that correct?
Yes.
Please tell me which service you're interested in. For example, you can say haircut, manicure, or any other service.
Haircuts.
Did you mean haircut for your appointment?
Yes.
Can you please call out the number you would like to receive confirmation SMS?
229 234 9485.
Could you please confirm your phone number for me? Is it 229-234-9485?
Yes.
Thank you, Samson Daniel. What day and time are convenient for you?
This Saturday by 10 a.m.
Two 025-03-25 tone 0000 plus 0100. Thank you. Your appointment has been scheduled. You'll receive a confirmation message soon. Bye.
Okay. So yeah, basically that was just how it goes, and the same thing applies for rescheduling and cancellation. Just that in rescheduling you already have a unique ID which you use for which they'll ask for. So once you provide your unique ID, it fetch your data from where it's been stored, and then it updates your calendar and your appointment dates, and from there you get a confirmation message also telling you that your appointment has been scheduled. So yeah, basically that's just the way it works. You can see it's not something that actually stressful, and it's you can do it at the comfort of your home and easy to use, user friendly. Yeah, let me put it that way. So you guys are curious how we built the voice AI agent. So I'll be taking you through step by step process of how it's being built. So let's just dive right into it at the moment. Okay, so yeah, guys, let me put you through the whole process on all. I don't really want to waste much of our time due to different schedule and workflows that we have involved in it. So, like I said before, four main parameters that we'll be using, or four main workflows, which is question and answer, schedule and appointment. These are schedule and appointment, reschedule and appointment, and cancel appointment. These are the four workflow we'll be working with. So the first one we are at is the question and answer phase. So like this is mainly about the brand. In case you have any question about the brand, that is why we created this um section. Like I said, it's not really that important, but it's just a side thing to add it. So the first thing you do is you start your workflow, which is the start here, and then you put a message that is the normal talk and message, and then hello, welcome to Benisuji Salon. Please see or choose one of the following options, and then you put in, I don't know, let me increase it, and then you put in another message underneath it, and that says, for question about the brand, say brand question. To schedule an appointment, say appointment. Say book an appointment. To reschedule an appointment, say reschedule. To cancel an appointment, say cancel. So we just wanted to make this prompt so it to be easier for the users to know how to go about it. It can be anyone you want, depending on what you want to do. So we decided to do it because it's quite easier. We have a conversation with the user to be able to know which options are available, okay, what can they do, what not to do, that kind of thing. So next thing we move to is the choice block, and that is since we give them options, we give them option choices to use. So that's why we used a choice block. Like I said, when you're using voice agent, it's usually better when you're using voice. It's way better using voice for and choice, sorry, for voice agent. So it saves you lots of time. So mostly when you're using voice AI, it mostly be using this choice because that's what makes it more easier for you to use than buttons or any other one. So we chose the choice button. Then from the choice button, what are some of the triggers that we use? So you have to create a new trigger, obviously. So create a new trigger, and this is an example. And then you choose an intent. So the intent is whatever you say that prompts it into carry out that task. So if I say about the brand, just like we give them in the second message that we sent for question about the brand, say brand question, those are the intent. So if someone says about the brand, it continues the flow of about the brand. If someone said book an appointment or schedule an appointment, it continues the flow of schedule an appointment. So we made those intents to know which flow it should go to. So whenever someone says any of this intent, instead of it trying to figure out, oh, okay, should I go to brand, it just immediately picks it up and follows the flow. So that's the reason, the purpose of intent. So to do that, you create new intent, and then we've done that already, so there's no need for us to do that again. So about the brand, that was the intent. So we follow the flow. If someone says about the brand, the flow continues like this, and then the thing goes, what would you like to know about the brand? That's the message. And then we save the entire reply to question. That is a variable. We save the variable to question. That is save entire reply to the question, and the question is the variable. So you can create a new variable, or you can, depend on what you want to save it as. I don't know, maybe you can say client question, user's question, whichever one you want. It depends on which one you're able to um listen to. So yeah, after that we link it to KB search, that's the knowledge base search base. That means we search our knowledge base for answers to this question, and then the next thing we do is to do that you just put in it should be under talk here. Is it under talk? Knowledge base. Okay, yeah, this is it here. Knowledge base search here, and then you add it to it, and then the question that you want to do. That is the question. That is the question that's been asked. We put the variable of it here. That's question in this section there. That is in case of what if whichever variable you're using, maybe client question, that's what you put there. So whichever question it be, I guess what you put as the question. And then we'll save the chunks to variable. So the chunks is let me put it like a breaking down of the whole knowledge base. So instead of it generating the whole info, it breaks it down into chunks for you to retrieve the most important information from it. So instead of it having to it scans through the whole knowledge base, but picks out the most important for what you actually need. So it's breaking it down into chunks, and then we now format the chunks. And I used a prompt to do that. I needed to format the chunks. So after breaking it down into chunks, I needed it to only extract the most important chunks. So I don't need too much answers or too much replies for you. I just need a very, very short one. So we used prompt for that, and I think I've showed you guys how to get the prompt, stock them prompt, and then you add your prompt. You say you create a new prompt and edit. So I'm just going to show you what the prompt is. It says you're an AI customer support bot helping members or customers with their question. Follow these guidelines. Use the following step-by-step process, step-by-step reasoning. Maybe I'll add this prompts to document in the YouTube video below. Once you just go to the description, I'll add the prompt. It's easier for you guys to use if you want to start reading through this whole thing. I'll just drop it there. And so yeah, after the finish formatting chunks, you already retrieve the important information there. The next thing you have to do is go straight. So it has given you a reply already. Like after the chunk formatting, since it's similar to when we are using set AI before. So it does gives you the response AI. It gives you the answer straight up after these chunks formatting. So the next thing you have is, do you have any other question? And then you get your whichever option. So if the person says yes, and for us to do that, we used a choice to. So yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, when you're adding a trigger here and you say choice, like I said, for instance, is whatever similar thing you say to it. So if the person says definitely, yeah, sure, indeed, absolutely sure, yes, yep, correct, affirmative, you are right, and any of these phrases here, it picks it up as the intent for yes. So as much as possible, try to put different utterances for it. So as you can see, the thing is green. That is to show that okay, it's actually good to go. The if it's red, that means you still need to add more. So it's we have over 24 utterances here, which any options it says here will definitely pick it as yes. So that is just what I'd like to show. So as much as possible, try to add more. To add more, you can just go here to this plus sign here, or you just generate. So you can generate 5, 10, 20 samples depending on the amount you want. The same thing applies to no too. So we use choices. So after asking, do you have after the person the after we give a reply to the question, we ask, do you have any other question? And the next thing the person wants to say that no, I don't have any other question. But the person said yes, I have any other question. So if the person says yes, we say all right, I'm listening. That is what the AI says. All right, I'm listening. I'm sure and then it goes to back to quiet. Then the user says a question. So whatever question the user says, it comes back here and it processes flow again. Like I said, you can see the top of the that's client question. So we linked it back here. So instead of us dragging it all the way to client question, we just connected it straight up to client question. To do that, it's just something that you come after you drag it out, you can just go to your workflow. The workflow I'm using is question and answer. So you go to a question and answer block and then you look for whichever one you want. So as you can see, we use client question. So if it's you see the owners just use that question or anything, you look for it in your question and answer block and you click on it, and that's how we're able to do it. So, and if the person says no, so you just say thank you for reaching out to the beneficiary admin. We appreciate you, and the call ends. So basically I just said so yeah, so let's go back to schedule an appointment. That's the next one on our list. So like I said before, when you when sorry, let me turn this thing back to where it is. Yeah, like I said, if anybody says schedule an appointment, it goes back to this new block one. This new block one is another workflow I created for schedule an appointment on its own. So instead of us having to create a new flow on this same cover here. We decided to take it to a new cover, that's a new workflow, so it's easier to just leave it alone for schedule an appointment. Like this one alone is just for about our brand. Then we did each a workflow for schedule, reschedule, and cancel. So instead of us having to full all this place here, this whole canvas with different blocks and all that, it makes it more jam packed. So I decided to just take it to a new workflow and make it easier there. So the only way I can do that is by linking it here, and I'll show you how I did that. So if someone says schedule an appointment, like I said, this is also an intent. So if someone says schedule an appointment, it doesn't wholly have to be scheduled an appointment. They are over 20 here or 16. So if someone says set up a meeting, plan an appointment, organize, secure a schedule, arrange a consider, fix a meeting, fix an appointment, book, schedule, arrange a meeting. It can be is like I said, it's way more than that. So the thing immediately triggers it and it goes straight to the schedule an appointment workflow. So yeah, let's go back to the schedule an appointment workflow. So if someone says schedule an appointment, it comes straight here, and it's what you the next year is like great. And how do we do that? We just put in a new block, that is talk message, and great. Let's schedule your appointment. You have your first name, and then don't forget this is a new block one. So we linked it straight to this place from here, and that was the same way we did it when we were doing end. Just click, like you drag it out, then you continue the whole process, and you just go to the block, and that is schedule an appointment, new block one. Don't forget it was new block one with me, so you have to know the block you're putting it at. That's new block one. As you can see, it's new block one, so it makes it easier. So it does go straight to this block here. So great, let's have a name. Great, let's schedule appointment. We have your name, and we save the reply to client's name. So when you're using caption, you know we need this thing. So like I explained before in the previous video, when you're capturing anything, that means it's something that you want to save and store and use later. So it's not like yes or no answer or like intent. No, you need this thing because you still use it later. So we save the reply, the person name as client's name, and then we needed to confirm the name. So we had a prompt, and then this prompt was name confirmation. So what we just say is that make sure to confirm your name before moving on. For example, my name is Samson Daniel. So the agent says your name is Samson Daniel. Is that correct? So basically that was the prompt we gave. So it runs the prompt and said yes or no using choice intent, which I've explained before, so I'll not dive into that. And then move straight to please can you tell me which service you're interested in. You can see haircut, manicure, or any other service. So we save the reply as service type. We used entity for this. This is what capturing, we used entity. And yeah, just like this one too, for the client's name too, we also used entity. I think I explained entity in the previous video I did. So if you're confused about that, I guess you can check out the previous video I did to understand how entity works. So we saved the service type as entity, and then we used different entities or values, that is haircut, massage. So if anybody says skin treatment, it saves it as facial. If anybody says body work, it says as massage. If anybody says trim or styling, it saves it as haircut. So we only needed the main thing, not really the whole thing. So if someone says paint my nails, or someone says another thing, it saves it as manicure. So yeah. So so from there we go to okay. So after the person says the service type he wants, we say the service type, the variable service type, and then we say please can you call out the number you would like to receive confirmation of an SMS from. We say the thing as phone number, and then it goes to okay. The next thing it goes to is phone number confirmation. I'm trying to trace the whole thing. Then phone number confirmation, the same thing we used a prompt this time too, the same thing, just like the previous one we used for name. So make sure to confirm the phone number, the customer's phone number. That is, I use the variable, I put the variable their phone number first before moving on. You're asking to confirm their number. Yeah. So when I confirm their number, call it a little bit slower so the customer can hear you well. Not add the client response to the output. Only the confirmation message is required. The phone number is changed based on different customers, so only confirm number that is given by the customer. Okay, so once you're done with that, like after the phone confirmation, you choose a yes or no, that is choice block, and then if it says yes, if the client or user says yes, and then you say thanks, then the client's name, we say the variable then as client's name, so thanks, whichever name the person put there, let's say thanks Daniel, and the person puts his name then as Daniel, then I say thanks Daniel. So what date and time is suitable for you? And if the person says no, you say, can you please call out your number again? And we take the person back to the phone number block. So it continues the process like that. And then after saying thanks clients, then what's date and time is suitable for you? So I had an issue in this side here. I was trying to get the current time to use, and based on Voiceflow, the current time enabled here was 2013. And I tried so much to change the whole thing, use different prompt to let it know that okay, this is today's date, but it wasn't getting a prompt, and so I had to use a different flow for it. So I had to send a request to n8n to get the current time, then send the current time back to Voiceflow. You know when someone is scheduling an appointment, you need the current time to schedule the appointment. So if the person says tomorrow afternoon, the the agent knows that okay, today what's today's date? Okay, use today's date to schedule it. So the person next week Thursday uses today's date to get the date for next week. But if you think it's 2013 or it's not different, then there's no way you can actually get it. So I don't know if there's anybody that was able to come up with a way to bypass that thing on Voiceflow. I really appreciate the opinion because I know how to use webhook to send and receive to be able to get it. So let me explain how I do that. So I sent a post request to anytime. So that is this is the webhook that I used. The normal then. So I did not need any parameters or anything. I already did it at the time. So I need to just send the request and get a response. That was all. So there's no parameter, there's no headers, there's no body, only post. I only send the request, and if I'm going to yeah, this is anything. Like I said, we just it's already in production, so we just copy the production URL. So like don't forget to put it to post, not get. You change it to post. Since you're also using post, and then you add date and time, and this is a node name anything. All you just do is um go to the plus sign and add date and time. Just search for it, and then you use there are different time operations, but what we need is the current date and time. So get date and time, and it gives you it say includes current time, and it gives you the current date, and the out field out with it came out with its current date. You can change it to whichever one, but I set it as current date, and then sent it out to its respond webhook. That's also that all you just need to do is search for respond webhook and connect it to it, so it send it back to wherever the webhook was coming in from. So we have the current dates, and the current dates. Remember I said it as current date, that is this one here. So I just need to do is drag and drop, and then the current here is 2025. This current is actually not needed because the current date actually entails the current year, so it wasn't really necessary, but I just added it there. So current dates, that is the one that I could have showed you how to do the drag and drop. Just check the previous video if you're having issues with the drag and drop. Because it's in production already, so that was the reason why I can't execute previous notes and drag and drop to show you guys. So once you've gotten it, you come back to voice flow, and then you choose like we are choosing a response, we're getting a response, so we're capturing a response. Yeah, and I think I explained this one in the previous video. Sorry, I'm referencing that one. I just want like not to waste time in this one, so that is no why. Um, I'm just trying to like skip the ones I've said before and stuff like that. So we capture response, and then capture response is based on what you get from the user. So we, in case you want to add a new response, you use capture response. You enter the object name, then you save it to a variable. Now this object name should be what you used in your this object name should be exactly the name that you used in receiving the webhook. For example, I used current date for it here. That's current then underscore dates. But if I just choose only current date, it will naturally get that information. Let me show you what I mean. If I go back to to anything, as you can see, what is here is current underscore date. So if what it's on this left side has to be equal to what is in the has to be the same thing as what I'm receiving in voice flow. So current underscore dates, and I saved the variable as current date. So that was just how I got the current date. So if I needed to change anything there, I need to go and change the same thing in n8n. So that's the reason why. So the users now, the next step is the user gives a reply. So the user can say, since we already know the current date, the user now give, oh, I want next week Wednesday, or I want tomorrow by noon, I want 11 a.m. And then whichever reply it is, and move to the next block. The next block is actually a prompt. And what does the prompt say? Say based on the user's date and time request. Now the user that says the variable that receives that whatever the user maybe tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. So create an expression formatted. Create an expression formatted similar to this. So we need to change it to this format because that's the only format that is acceptable in anything for you to update your record or update your date and time. This is the record. You cannot say tomorrow afternoon by 11 a.m. You need to put it in this format. I've forgotten the name of the format. I think it's ISE also. There's a name for it. There's a name for it. I've forgotten the name of the name. And then with this specific date and time that the user requested it in West African time, you can use instant time. You can use Pacific time. So it depends on the time that you want. Only output the expression, nothing else, and be sure that it is sorry, I just want to there was a gen better to get out of space. It is in the current year at the time of creating this query. The current year and date is, I told you before that we created a variable and set it as current date. So now we are letting the agent in Voiceflow know that, okay, whatever time the person is speaking now, set it to this format, and then also know that the date and time at that moment that the person created that date and time is current date. And we saved it. When we received from n8n, we saved it in a variable called current date. So that's when I showed you the response where I said current date. We saved it in a variable current date. So um, it lets it know that the current date and time is the current date, the one we retrieved from n8n. So and then we now need to set set how that like set the variable. Okay, we want to more like change the variable. Right now the thing is in prompt, and the prompt is not actually a variable. So we now want to make sure that the time after converting it to that format, you save it in a specific variable. So for us to do that, we use set a variable that should be set, and then we put the sets there, and then we used let me show you what I did, then plus sign. But because we just in a prompt first, so we have to use prompt before we use the value expression. But because what we want to convert it is already a prompt, so we want to convert it into a variable, we first of all choose the prompt, and then we select the prompt that we want. This is how the prompt was created. So the one that I saved it as was Ola, that is, sorry, it's somewhere here now, this one here. So once you once you do that, then you now choose the variable you want to save it as. So I saved that formatted time for I converted the prompt from the alert, and I wanted it to be in a variable of formatted time. So that was why I saved the variable as. So the prompt already is, I named it Ola, and then I now wanted to change it because since it's a prompt, it is not in a format, or it's not in a variable, so there's no way I could use it. So I want to be it in a way that I could use it in a variable. So I converted the whole prompt, the reply that is being gotten from the prompt, into a variable which I set it as formatted time. So I don't know if you understand. After that, all we now need to do is send the request straight to n8n to generate um like to update it on our calendar to give a reply. So the next thing we'll do is like normal, that's like I said for post, and it's in production also. We post our the usual way we just copy the link of production for webhook and then paste it here, and this time we are sending request out. So we have different things we're sending. What I'm sending, we're sending the client's name, client purpose, the date and time, and the phone number. These are the bodies, so we're sending all this out as part of the bodies. And then the capture response, what we want to do is get is the available status. That means if the data time is available, and then the message, that means the appointment message. So those are the two things we need. And now once you get to that stage, you understand what I mean by that. So these are what we're sending out, and these are what we're coming back from it. So let's now go. I would have explained what's the old nested, but let me explain the n8n outside so you guys should understand it better. Okay, let me save this. Then schedule. Okay, so as usual, we get our webhook from here, and then it brings up the whole information and all, and then our date and time, which you set in a parameter that the date and time that we used here. That means okay, yeah, and the date and time. The reason why I added this date and time was because I wanted a 2 hours difference. That means starting time and ending time. So, like say someone book 11 p.m. The duration of the service is supposed to be for 2 hours. That was the way I bet it. Just supposed to be for 2 hours. I needed to add an extra time to it. So if the person is 7 a.m. or 7 or say 10 a.m., it goes from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I needed that time duration. So that's why I used date and time. And like I said, we have different operation in date and time. So I decided to use add to date. You know, the last time we used was get current date. So I used add to date. And the date and time that we're adding to, what's the date that we're adding to is the one that has been generated in the formatted time. But the formatted time is what we sent. I added, like I said before, I cannot, sorry, I cannot execute previous node because of this thing. So all you just have to do is drag and drop your previous time, the one that was being saved there. So that is the formatted time. Don't forget it. Formatted time is what you're dragging here, and just because it's in that format. So and you see it as formatted time. So we're dragging it here and dropping it here. So the time added is hours, like you want it to be hours different. You can change it to weeks, months, days, minutes, seconds. It depends on what you want, but we were using 2 hours difference. So the duration is hours, 2 hours, and what we want to see this new output as, I said it as new dates. So even so the starting time will be the normal date and time, while the ending time will be new dates. That was just the normal the output name I gave it. So from there we moved on to Google Calendar. So Google Calendar is for us to go and check, oh, is this date available or is it not available based on the user's time. So you create I don't even explain. So you create an account in Google Calendar, just create new credentials, then you sign in with your Google and continue your process, and that is all for it. So the next thing you do is which resource do you want? Calendar. We want to use the calendar, and then what do we want to check? Availability. Then we want to check there are different options. Availability. Then we want to check if the slots, the time that we're choosing is available. So if we're using events, then we want to create a new event. Let's say the date and time. We still do that. We want to create a new date and time, so that's when we use events. Or to check availability, we just use to check the if the date and time the person is available, we use availability, and the resource to be calendar. Then I'm going straight to the calendar, and then the calendar I chose my calendar. When once you create an account, you see your whichever name you saved as. So mine was saved as this Gmail, and that was what I used for it. So and then the start time, don't forget the start time was the previous one we used. Don't forget the date and time, the formatted time, date and time. No, it was the name is saved in formatted time, but when we were sending it out there, we used in the body we used date and time was what we sent as formatted time. In case you're having in case you did not get what I mean by that. So date and time here is what is the name for it, and then the variable is formatted time. That's what I just wanted to explain. So that's why you see date and time here. So we drag and drop. Start time is date and time, which is also means formatted time, and the end time is the one that we just created, the one that I showed you previously, new date. That is the so start time, end time, and then we have the if. The function of the if was if the thing is available, if it's not available. If it's available, continue this process. If it's not available, continue. So we use the if node, and so the condition, if JSON available is true, or if JSON available is false. So like the previous node with the previous flow was check if it was available. So the output is available. That means .json dot available. So if the found that the thing is available, your JSON in your previous node will show true. If you are running it and anything, you say it will show available. It shows true next to it. So like I said before, I apologize I cannot do previous because it's already in production already. So if you're testing this, you notice that you see it's actually true. So if you are available, if the thing shows available, that means it is true. And if that data number I choose is not available, it shows false. So your JSON available. So we add two options: if the JSON available is true, or if the JSON available is false. Don't use and. If you are using and, I'm making it a combined condition. So all makes it go here or go this way. But if you are using and, I'm trying to join both of them together. So and when I was making, I made the first mistake of that. But I was able to realize that, oh no, it should be all. So your JSON available is true. So if it's true, it goes this part. If it's false, it goes this part. So yeah. The next thing after it's true, we know that okay, that time and date and time schedule. Now we want to create an event on calendar. So the same way you log in, you just all you just need to do is choose the since you created it before, all you just need to do is click on it just like this. It's because it already pop up since you've created a new you've connected it to your calendar already. So this time I'm choosing event because we're creating an event. We're not using availability. So I'm using event for your resource. I'm not using calendar because we are not trying to check availability. We just want to just check we want to create a new event. So sorry the operation we're doing is create an event. We can create, delete, get many updates. So for updates, we'll still do that. But right now, we want to create a new event. So we're doing create event. Each calendar is the same calendar you used before, the one you've created before that. So and to create a calendar, I think you go to cow.com. Cow.com is where you get all this whole thing. I'll be able to finish the process in it. So the start time. What is the start time for your Google Calendar? So your Google Calendar tells you okay from this time to this time. And so what is the start time? Start time is the one we dropped before. Drag and drop. This is your start time, the normal one, this and time, and then the end time is that new date, the one we used before. So new date and location. I just added this one. I just added headquarters. Even though, like I said before, it's just a stuff for just talking. So the address is not really important. So I just use institute as headquarters as location. You can add more to it. You can add more fields. So, but I did not really need more fields. So I just need a very short thing. So I added only location and summary. So for the summary, what I just did was that means these are the information I'll be sent to the Google Calendar. So when you send it, you say it. So we have name, that means name, purpose, that means what is the purpose of the service, what service do you want, and then the phone number. Those are the things that's updated and that is sent to the manager, whoever is in charge of the service. So that okay, so person but this thing. Okay, what does the person want? The person wants to make his or her hair, paint nails, a body massage. It serves the purpose. And who is always the best phone number in case the client wants to call the person. Don't know. Or in case the manager wants to call the user, whichever thing he wants. So we added it there. You can add more to it. Depends on what you want to add to it. So we drag and drop the client's name. That is the name that we sent out there. Remember in the beginning when we were sending things out. So the purpose is also there and the phone number is also there. Then we send this out. And also yeah, let me if the thing is false, it sends a request back. That means if available. This response body that I use here is very important because it's what we will be able to determine which flow goes in voice flow. So we said available false. In the message, sorry, this time slot is already booked. Please choose another time. Like that was what, like I said before, this left side is very important. The same much as the right side. So the variable that we use that is the available here is what we'll be using there. So make sure that don't forget that this available is very important and this message is very important. So then after we've created the events, the next thing we do is send it back to Voiceflow that okay, yeah, the appointment has been booked. So available, true. Message, the appointment has been successfully booked. So that is just how you put it in JSON format. And JSON format. And the next thing we did was so I wanted okay, what I did was I was trying to generate a unique ID for each client. So each time someone registered, the person gets a unique ID. But I was trying to use Voice Studio, but I couldn't get it. And I was trying to use Airtable, but Airtable generates it after the user sends it. So to send it back to Voiceflow is something that is quite possible, but it's take a longer process. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just use a code to just generate it. That means the JavaScript to generate the whole thing. So I use ChatGPT. So I thought, okay, I need a line of code that just help me generate random numbers from a specific um and doesn't repeat it. So it gave me this code, and that was what I used, and it has been working well. So it just generates like I think like 5 to 6 figures of of unique numbers and doesn't repeat the number. So each time it gives one, it doesn't repeat it. Time it gives one, it doesn't repeat it. So each person has that unique number, and so that's how they're able to identify or retrieve the information that they want to reschedule. That's how I was able to get the unique ID. And then we send the information to Airtable. So yeah, for you that I've explained how to connect to Airtable in the previous one, how it looks in the previous video. So if you're having issues connected to the Airtable, you can just look at the previous video. I explained it there. So we have the Airtable, then resource record because we're creating a new record. We want to create a new record. Then the operation we're creating, and then we choose what we want to them is the list, which of the table from the base, which base we choose beneficiary, then which base customer info, then map each, then yeah, and then what are we sending? We're sending the full name, purpose, phone number, unique ID, and event ID. The reason why I choose events, the reason why we use the event ID is if you're trying to retrieve a document from a Google Calendar, each time you create a new calendar or you create a new event, each event has its own unique ID. So for you to retrieve it, event ID, sorry, for you to retrieve it, you have to have your own, you have to get the event ID. So first time I did, I did not know that. So after I finished doing it, I was trying to now reschedule, and then it was asking me, okay, what's the event ID? You see what we're doing when I'm explaining the reschedule, you see. It was asking me that what's the event ID, and I'm like event ID. That, oh my god, so I need to now start, I need to go back, I had to go back to here to schedule and how to now generate the event ID and save it to Airtable. So whenever I need it, I'll just go and retrieve from Airtable and use it there. So that was how I was able to do it. So don't forget, you need, for you to actually update your Google Calendar, you need that event ID of that event that you created. So make sure that you unless you have another way of doing it. Sure. But the way I was able to do it was by using the event, by retrieving the event ID to get the whole information about that event, then now update that event. So yeah, after that, you send your info to Airtable, and this is how the Airtable looks like: phone name, purpose, phone number, appointment status, unique ID, event ID, just like the only difference is that for the event ID, for the appointment status, we have scheduled, rescheduled, cancelled, and completed, but it automatically updates. So I did it that I set an automation for it. So automatically update with total update. So whenever someone schedule, it goes to schedule. Whenever someone reschedule, it goes to reschedule, cancellation, and all that. So um, let's go back to Voiceflow. So yeah, like I said before, don't forget the thing we used there. So I said if we created a new part here, and then let me explain this one first. Available. Remember, I explained available there. That don't forget your available has to be the same thing. So we said available. The absolute answer we got from available, we saved it in a variable called available status. Then the message we set at appointment message. So that was what we did. And then we now set a condition. So after that, we needed to set a condition for us to know, okay, is it possible? What to do? What to do? So we now said, is the variable. We said that available. We said that available status. So if available is true, that means with the date that available anticipated an event, and that thing is true. So it should. So that we said if available, like I said, the condition. To create a condition, you just create the part, and then you put in condition builder. And then we said that if available status, that means available, we said that available status, if it contains true, remember that then we said available, when we're writing in JSON format, we said available, then true. So we said if available contains true, it should go this way. So the message of if available contains true is thank you, appointment has been scheduled, receive a confirmation message, bye, and that's where it ends. So the next one, if now the other one is if available is false. I could have said if available is false, it should also call to attention, but if it's not true, then it's false. So I just put else. It has to be true, it has to be false. So either true or false. So true. I could have said if available status contains false, go to section, but there was not for that because it's the same thing. Available status contains false is the same thing as else. Because if it's not true, then it is false. That is else. So sorry, date and time. The date and time you chose. There's even a mistake here. So the date and time you choose is unavailable. Kindly choose a different date and time. So we connected it to back to date and time where we says here. So and basically that is it. So yeah, that's all for scheduling. So let's go to rescheduling, not to waste more time. So after the intent of rescheduling is being done, you continue the same process. A message you say, I understand that you like to reschedule your appointment. Let me help you with that. That's a message block. So you said, all right, what's new time and date works for you? Reschedule block. And then we send a post request to get the new time and date, just like we did in the previous one. So I'm not going to explain that one again. The same thing with the just web send web hook, and then the web hook goes to date and time. You respond web hook, send it back to you to know the current date and time, and then we ask the client, so what's the new date and time you want? So the person says the new date and time, and it goes straight to the same procedure just like we did before. We save it as a prompt, which is saved to this format, in this also format, and then we now change that prompt to a variable. So set the date format. So that means this prompt we want it to be in this new date format. So that was what we sent it to. And then after that we asked, okay, so what's your unique ID? So the next phase, what's your unique ID? So I can fetch your details for you. So the person sent a unique ID. That was one we generated in the schedule. Send a unique ID, and then once the unique ID has been generated, the person gets an SMS. I was not able to do a confirmation of that because I'm not registered on Twitter. So um once the conversion, so all I just needed to do was just add the go to the n8n, add Twilio account, connect my Twilio account with, and just copy the message I want and send it to. What would I do? I'll just drag and drop the which recipient did I want to send the number to. I'll just drag and drop the phone number, and that's it. So that one is not actually an issue. So what's your unique ID? So I can fetch your phone number. Get your details. So the client tells the unique ID, and then we send it as a post request. So what is the post request? All we just need is parameters, unique ID, new date, and the capture is um what we want to get back is the success if the transaction was successful. Not before we use client available, but now we're changing the variable success. So client's name, what we want to get is also the client's name, and also used available too. So yeah, and as usual, we went to the if condition. So before we get to this condition, just like we did it before, we go back to n8n. So let me save it back. So reschedule. So yeah, let me just explain the workflow for this. So you create your webhook, use production, post, like I explained before, the same thing. Then we want to now search Airtable. Now we have the unique ID. We want to now search Airtable to get all the personal details based on that unique ID. So we'll be able to know, oh, this is the information we're looking at. Each person on Airtable has a unique ID. Just like I said, we generated the number. So the number would not be the same. So once you use that number, you're able to get the all details of the person's name, phone number, everything that we used here. So connect your Airtable, you choose record, and your operation you're choosing this time is search because we're searching, we're not creating, we're not updating, we're searching, we're not even deleting any record. So you choose your base, that is the base of the Airtable. That is ours is the one I use in the salon. Then the table customer is for the same one like so. Now filter by formula is what do you want to use to filter it out, like from that old we have first name, we have last name. So what would you use to retrieve all that information? All we're using is unique ID. So you drag and drop your unique ID um then there, and then you continue to the next step. So yeah, if you're able to find okay, so what I did next is that after creating the search record. Okay, so what I did is I wanted to confirm if we're able to generate the unique ID. So if someone gives a false let's say the person make a mistake in the number, let's say the number was supposed to be 95302, the person wrote 95301, and it's the Airtable goes to record and feel like, oh, we could not find this record. So how do we deal with that before we continue the process? So we used an if node. So if the JSON ID, so that means if the ID is that means if there is an output, okay, that was where I did it. If there was an output, then it should continue the process. That means it's found the record. But if there was no output, whenever the record is it could not find the record, that means it will tell you that there is no output. That means it's zero. So that means if the output is zero, that means it should go toward this other direction. So what I did was I created a JSON format and condition. I said if the JSON ID is one, that means is one. That one means there's an output. That means it is greater than 0. That means it's an output that is 1 and above. That is basically 1. If it is greater than 0, then continue this flow. But if it is now um, the other condition now said, even though it's not here, if it's now less than 0, that means to go towards the other direction. And that is how we're able to get the false. So that means if the person from the Airtable, if the person uses the correct one, it continues the flow. But if the person uses the false one, that means there will not be any output because Airtable will tell you that, or we could not find the record. So if they could not find the record on Airtable, the output will definitely zero because it will not bring out the person's first name, not bring it, so the output will be 0. So for us to do that, that's how we use that format there. So we use that if node. So if the thing is, if there's an output, it continues the flow. If there is no output, it comes here. So now let me once it comes here, that means available false. That was what we sent it as. So like I said, don't forget, well, we still use it in response node. This is just a response to, so we'll still use it. So now if the thing gets a record, let's say you find the records there, the next thing you need to do is um we want to now add to the dates, the usual time, the way we did it before. We want to add to the dates, like 2 hours difference, and the same way we did it before. You drag and drop your date and time, the one the person said, the new date and time the person wants. Don't forget the new date and time, not the previous one of the scheduler, the new one the person said. So the variable you're sending it is what you'll be using. And then the time you need to add 2 hours, and then you save it as new date. To know the format, that's it as new date. But this time date because we're using a different flow. And then the same thing, you check the availability on calendar. That's the way I explained it there. And then the if node, it's just the same thing actually. It's just the same thing as the previous one. So your if node to check if it's available or not, and then you send the response back. So once you send the response back, you update it on Google Calendar. I know you need to get a Google Calendar. So you connect a Google Calendar events, then update. This time we're not doing create, we're using update because you want to change the date and time there. So the date and time changes and it changes on your calendar too. So let's say before it was on Monday and then you want it to be on Wednesday. It immediately changes it from that Monday to that Wednesday. And then we have the calendar, that means the name of the calendar that you want. And the inventory, like I said before, the what you use to retrieve it is that unique inventory. That was why I said I got here and I was like, okay, inventory, where do I get the inventory from? Find out, oh, I have to start. That's why I had to save it in Airtable. So researching that Airtable in the first place was just to get this event ID and the names and all that we use. So that was the main purpose of the searching for the unique ID in the first place. Not just to get the event name, but also the event. Not to get the full name, not just to get the full name, but also the event ID. So yeah, after the event ID, you use the updated time. That's the new date and time. You add to the field, then you choose your start and end time. So the end time that we want is the new data, that new one that we chose in that date and time. So that's the new date. So that's the end time. I'm sure you still know, just like we did before. And the start time is the one the person chose. That's the formatted time, the new one. So after that, it's just the same thing, just like previous one. It's just the same way we did the other one. Just drag and drop, and then you update it on Airtable. So the reason why we update it on Airtable, we want to update on Airtable is because before it was on schedule, so we want to change it from scheduled to we want to change from schedule to reschedule. So how do we find it? So we'll just use the full name to search on Airtable to tell you, okay, this full name is the same thing. Since we've already retrieved the document before we search and retrieve it, we just put the column to match on. It could be first name, it could be phone number, it could be anyone. Or I use first name, it could be anyone. It's as long as on the column Airtable, so that should not be a problem. So you can use anyone. So first name, and then what values you want to update. We want to update the appointment schedule. The reason why this first phone name is here because we use phone name here as the column to match on. So using to match phone name. So it's not like it's I was like drag and drop it because I'm using this phone name here. So if you're using phone number, it's the right phone number using to match. So what we want to just change is the appointment schedule. So we're changing it from scheduled to rescheduled. So that was just it. And next thing you're done and you're back to Voiceflow. So like I said before, the variable that we use then is success. So you say just like we said before, If success contains true, take this part. If success contains false, take this part. If available contains false, take this part. So if the thing, if your success, I mean, the success of what we got from the response webhook, everything was successful. So you see, success is true. And what was sent back to this client's name. So just to go back to it. So we said okay, all right. Now we retrieve the client's name in this place here. You see, we retrieve the client's name. So we save it as client's name, just like the way we did it then. And then so we say, all right, so it's impute, you retrieve the client's name. You know, at the beginning, the person did not actually say his name. Or just we asked for was his unique ID. So to be able to give them that assurance that okay, we still have a little with you. That client name gives them that assurance, and that was how we were able to do that. So we just retrieve the client name from the Airtable where the thing is being stored, and then put it here. So the person said, oh, all right, Daniel. Even though I did not say Daniel in the beginning, all I just said was unique ID, and then it brings out my name. So he said, all right, Daniel. I'm just an example. Date and time as violated, you should get a confirmation SMS soon. That is if success is true, that means all the flow worked well. But if success is false, that means it means that the date and time was not correct, just like we did the previous time. That means sorry, client's name. Date and time chosen is available. Kindly choose another. Thanks. So now, if available is false, that means there was no output. We say sorry, I couldn't find your record. Kindly check your unique ID again. Now, why do we not use client name? I saw a client's name, the baby client name, is because we could not actually get the variable in the first place. You know, we could not get all the whole information in the first place. So where do we get the client name from? It's not possible since the record is not valid. So remember at that beginning where we were using the if node, the first if node that we used. So it said if available contains false. So sorry, I couldn't find your record. Kindly choose check your unique ID again to confirm. So if person checks again, we link it straight to the unique ID, then the client's ID. And if the date and time is not correct, we link it straight to the date and time, just like we did the previous one. And if it's correct, we end the call. So that is basically it for cancel. So now let's move to cancel. I'm sure we're wasting too much. I don't want to just drag this whole thing. So yeah, this one is actually not that complicated at all. So if someone said, "Oh, I want to see someone in the beginning," let's say, "So what would you like to do?" And the person said, "Cancel an appointment." It comes straight to here. And don't forget to create a new flow. All you just need to do is copy this plus and here, create new flow and name it what you want to name it, and then link it to whichever record you are focusing on. Just like I explained to you before. So new block one was the record. So I'll just do go to question and answer. Where it says cancel, you link it to new block one in the cancel workflow. Um, so it's basically sure I can help you cancel your appointment. May I ask if there's a particular reason for the calculation and cancellation? But your feedback will help us improve our service. So we wanted to know, okay, what is the reason why the person wants to cancel the appointment? So we want to know, okay, how do we help this person out? Since we still have the person's phone number, so we can reach out to the person to know. Okay, yeah, I can help you guys with this thing. So the next thing you want to do is the next blog. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate your feedback and I'll pass this along to our team. You can reach out to our customer care at benesudisalon@gmail.com for a faster response. Like I said, Gmail is not valid, so it's just for the flow. Okay, so after the person, yes, don't forget I did not mention it. Assuming the entire reply to reason, that was the variable you said that's to reason. It's the capture. So capturing it to reason. And then the next place, can I get your unique ID so I can get your record and cancel your appointment? So like I said before, what you just need to receive documents, the person information is unique ID. The person provide unique ID and the same step, the same thing. You use a post, you send it as parameters, unique ID, and the reason. You need to know the reason why the person cancelled, so you add the reason to it. So the capture is small. What I capture from the person is the customer's name and success if it's successful. So like I said before, I will still put it through the office. So if success, that means when you are receiving your webbook, does this contain true? So alright, customer name. You know we already retrieved the document using the unique ID just like we did in Reschedule. So we already have the customer's name. So alright, customer's name. And how do we get the customer's name? It's for receiving it here. So you can see the capture response is customer name, customer name. So this customer name here is what we're receiving the players. And I said before, it's very important. It has to match this customer's name. It has to match the one in your receive webbook for it to work. So we say alright, customer name. Yeah, appointment at the council do availability. And then if the success, that means success part one is false, that means it did not work out, then we say sorry, I couldn't find your record, kindly confirm the unique ID again. So this time it's not like the appointment, it's not like we need to confirm the appointment if it's available or not. Like that is why we did not use three conditions and we used to, we're not confirming it thing is available, if the date and time is available or not. You want to cancel it. So whether it's available, it's not available, it doesn't matter. Because as long as that record is there, it's not like we're using a date and time, no date and time this time. I cancel the appointment. So once it's cancelled, it's gone. So we don't need to start saying if success contain if the date and time is not available, okay. So the client, sorry client, we could not find your date and time you chose wasn't available. No, because we're canceling this. So all we just need to know is, was it cancelled, was it not cancelled. So the unique ID determines. So if the unique ID is found, we'll cancel it. If the unique ID wasn't found, we tell them no. So that's it. And then back to the workflow. Then we say cancel. That's the last one. So yeah, you receive your webhook, you use your you search for it using your unique ID, just like we within a reschedule. And then the if note to know if the record is found. If the record is found, that means there's an output for it, just like we did in the previous one. It goes straight to Google Calendar. If it's not found, we tell them that, oh, your record. That's why we say success one, success two. You say this one should be success one is false. Success is false. Customer Airtable, blah blah blah. So that's how we do it. And then next thing, if the thing has an output, then we say Google Calendar. Now, we want to delete the person's event on Google Calendar, so the manager doesn't see the name there and is like, I thought this person has canceled. Why is he still looking up for the calendar? So delete the entire event on the calendar. So events, the operation this time will be delete. Choose your distance. And the event ID, not forget your event ID. After you retrieve the document, the event ID is already there. That's why we put it in a table, because we actually needed it. So event ID, it's once you get the event ID, it's able to retrieve the event on your calendar. And then once you delete it, it says time is successful true. Then the customer name, you also need the customer name that we retrieve from Google Calendar. So once that is that we retrieve from Airtable. So once that is done, we need to now create a new record. So the reason why I did this is because I needed to create a new record on the Airtable. So it's I wanted to delete the where it is on the customer info and now put it to cancellation. So the person is no more on customer info. It's now under cancellation. So that was the reason why I did. So it changes from customer info. It deletes the information of that person. Once someone cancels the order or cancels this, it deletes the information from the customer info and then saves it as in a different settings as okay. So we see the person's full name and the reason the person cancelled it and status. So that's it for that. So let me go back to so yeah. So we create an event. Just like I said, the table will not be cancellation. We're not using customer info. We're using cancellation, and then we have the full name. What we need to send to the full name, reason, and status will automatically become cancelled. So we automated it to become cancelled. And after that, we delete the record. That means the one I told you that we deleted the record on. It depends on. I know the setback is that you won't really have most of that person information. So it's just something that I just say, okay, let me do it. Even though only not on the normal if it was a real production stuff, I won't delete it on the record here. Because no matter whether you are a former staff, true staff, or new customer, old customer, or you deleted or you rescheduled, everybody's information is important because you never know when it's coming and do so better for you to. And if I want to move it to the best order to move to a new block, that's like I move that cancellation. I'll move the entire details of that person to the cancellation block. Not before I did not put the phone number or anything. I only put phone name, reason, and then status. So this time I would have put the phone number and other things involved in it. So if I'm deleting from the main info, it will be in that cancellation info with all the details. So if the reason for the person cancelling was okay, I did not know the time you guys were using it, or I called you guys shop and nobody, or whatever reason that the way the person, or I got to you guys shop and the way the person talks to me, I don't know whatever reason, I don't know. So the manager can call the person since that the person is like, oh, I'm sorry about this, whichever it might be. So yeah, basically that was just the whole thing. So that is how to build an appointment scheduler of and it appears. This is an example of how the calendar looks like. So when you build your own, you see the whole thing. So I'll run just one on show you guys how the thing works, so you'll be able to see it from there. So let's just do a quick one. And even though I've explained the whole thing in the voice agent, like the previous video I did, I already showed you guys how I did it. So I just want to just do a quick one so you guys will be able to see. So as you can see, the steam just shifted block. Once I say schedule, shifted block to the schedule block. So let me see. Something Franklin. Franklin is also my name, so that's just Franklin. So yes. Let me see haircuts. Page SMS. So yes, I hope you guys can see just the way it is. So it's so what day in terms of for me? Let me say tomorrow. Okay, let me say today. Today by 3 p.m. So as you can see, your appointment has been scheduled. You receive a confirmation message soon. So how do we confirm this? Let's check out our Google Calendar and Airtable to see. So yeah, as you can see, Samson Daniel, Samson Franklin, purpose, Eckert, phone number. As if I open up the thing, you see the phone number. The phone number is there. Okay, you can see. If I click on it, the phone number is there. The HQ summary, 30 minutes, blah 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 blah. So yeah, this is how just like I said before, this is how it looks like in the calendar. So let's now check the Airtable info. As you can see, this is the Airtable Samson Daniel Eckert. Phone number, scheduled, unique ID is the unique ID and the event ID. So basically that's just all you need to do in building like I've explained everything. It's not that complicated, it's a bit but not that complicated. So if you have any question, you can just, like I said, I'll be dropping the prompt I used for the first one there. So the other ones are one that's easily easy to jot down, so it will not be for me to actually post that one. So if you have any question or you have any then you can reach out to us and or you can comment. I'll be able to put it through in the whole thing. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and put on notification to get more videos. And I'm telling you, it will be very helpful in learning this. So have a nice day and bye.